Hello and welcome to another Drunken Lullabies video, guys. It's Barrett here today, showing you the ultimate way to farm cement and paste and chitin here on the island. So you're going to want to come to the Cave of the Immune. The coordinates are shown on screen now, and I will also leave them down in the description for you guys. And you're going to want some gas masks, or you're going to want 3 pieces of scuba and 2 pieces of ghillie. It doesn't matter which order, as long as there's 3 scuba to ghillie. You're also going to want a frog. So you're going to pod up your flyer that you used to get here real quick, if you have cryopods. If not, just leave it outside. And you're going to throw out your frog, because that is what we are going to be using to run this cave. As you can see, I've got old reliable Croak Dog here with me. There are his stats there, and he has a 200 armor Ascended saddle. So we're going to go hopping on into this cave real quick, and I will show you the way around. So when you get into this cave, what we're going to do is we're going to follow the bend round the corner like so. Obviously I always pause right at the start of caves just to get rid of that initial cave lag, so it doesn't mess you up further on in. But we're just going to follow this little bend round here, and just after these mushroom trees we will find some enemies. Now you're going to want to use the right click or right trigger attack to defeat these enemies, as it is more powerful. As you can see, this is me using the left click for the first little bit, just to show you that it is not as powerful, and that you are better off using the right click. As you can see as well, the frog is harvesting all that lovely paste and chitin automatically for me on kill. You don't even need to harvest the bodies if you don't want to. So the reason I tell you guys you will need plenty of backup armor to run this cave is because when you are on old Froggy Boy here, the Arthro players will spit at you and break your armor. So it's a good idea to have plenty of backup, because there is a poisonous gas in this cave that will kill you pretty fast if you are not protected by your gear. As you can see, there are plenty of Megarenas coming at me. So just to sit there and swipe at them with the frog until you've gathered them all, and then you make your way on further through the cave, like I'll show you in a sec. Okay guys, so hopping along further through this cave, you might find a couple of enemies in here, nothing too dangerous. Oh, there's that Arthro player that I mentioned earlier, and he will eventually spit and try and break your armor. If he hits you, it's pretty much a one-shot for the armor if it's primitive, so try and avoid getting hit by his spit. It's pretty simple, we're just going to hop along straight through here. Sometimes the Megarenas, or however you say their name, are a little tricky to hit in this cave with the frog, but if you just move along a bit further, you'll eventually manage to hit them. So coming through into this first big open room with the river in it, you're going to have a bunch of hostiles that raid you as soon as you come through. So we're just going to sit here and we're going to use the big licky tongue to swipe at them and gather all the paste. Right, so once we have cleared that room here, we're going to go straight ahead. I will show you in just a second. As I mentioned, these little dragonfly things can be a little hard to hit sometimes, so you've got to be a little patient with them. But we are going to go straight ahead where them mushrooms are on the wall, and we're going to clear the next group of enemies, and we're going to get the very first drop in this cave. So as you can see, in this instance, the enemies have actually already just started swarming out of that little corridor towards me. So I can actually fight them right here out in the open. Now, there is a slight overspawning issue on these caves at the moment in ARK. So it isn't always this hectic, and your frog is usually only taking half the damage I have by now. But it's no big deal, the frogs are pretty tough, they can survive this cave regardless. So like I say, we're just going to run around this little S-bend, and we're going to try and shotgun this Arthro player first. And if we can, we'll... oh, there we go, it just got me anyway. But if we can, we want to shotgun the Arthro players before they even have a chance to spit at you, because they are strangely accurate with that spit. So if they do get you, if they do get your equipment broken, what you're going to want to do is you want to change that out straight away, and then continue fighting the other mobs. Because the other mobs will not do as much damage to your team as the gas will do to you. So we are just going to finish off killing the leftovers here in this little bend. As you can see, we've got some Meganeras just floating above us there that don't want to come down and attack. But it's fine, if we just carry on moving, they will eventually change their height and we'll be able to get them just round this corner, as you can see. Another bunch of bad guys is coming to attack me in the frog. Again, there is a slight overspawning issue, it's not usually this hectic, but it is what it is, and the frog is tanky enough to deal with it. We'll just have to force feed him some food a little bit later on in the cave, just to make sure we get out with at least a little bit of health and he does not die on the way out. Okay, so once we've killed this initial little mob at the entrance to this room, there's quite a few more inside that we need to go and deal with before we can get that drop to our left there. It is a blue drop, but to be fair, the ARK gods have been very kind to us and we have actually got some decent stuff out of this blue drop. So yeah, it is totally worth coming into this room and grabbing it while you're in here. Plus, you don't want to miss out on all this lovely cement and paste and chitin. As you can see, this player has snuck up behind us and destroyed our gas mask. So we do need to replace that pretty quick while we're here, before the gas takes all of our health. As you can see, just in them few seconds I was explaining it, it had already taken a good 10% of my health. Just underneath that mushroom there is an explorer node, but I already have it, so it's going to be kind of hard to show you guys as it is buried in the bushes. Grabbing this drop, we got a prefab pike and some ghillie, nothing too special this time, but if you didn't already have that stuff, or blueprints for that stuff, that could be a pretty nice find for yourself. Okay, so we hop on out of this room the same way we came in, round this little S-bend and into the room with the pond. Now instead of taking the left option, we are going to go right by this glowing wall and take this bend round, and this will lead us into the next part of the cave. Now, coming up here, as you first come in by that tree stump, there is sometimes a drop, but right now on this video it is in the second location it can be in, so it's not a big problem. We will grab that in a sec. We just have to deal with a couple of mobs first. Now, it is totally up to you whether you want to kill off the Akachinas, but I personally don't, because they take too long, because they go into a little ball like a Doedicarus. Instead, I just hop along that wall there and drop down here to surprise attack this next little mob. As you can see, the Arthro player instantly sniped me with its venom, so we do have to quickly throw on a new gas mask, but that's not a big problem. And then we'll continue to fight all this little mob here under the archway before it has a chance to spread out and become a bigger problem for us. The Arthro player for some reason fired a second round of venom at me there. Again, no big deal, just got to make sure you put that gas mask on pretty fast. Okie doke, so that is that little mob dealt with. As you can see, if you come around that tree stump that we were just fighting underneath and jump up here, you will find a yellow drop. That is the second location for this room that I mentioned earlier. We got a really nice flak helmet blueprint out of this one, so back onto the frog it is, and we will run to the final part of this cave, and we will get the first red drop, and we will grab ourselves an artifact. I am just going to give the frog a little bit of raw meat to let him heal up, and then he can have a bit more health, because there is a fair few enemies in this cave, and if they are overspawning, it could be a problem if you don't make sure you top him up. Okie doke, so hopping around to the right here, you will see it opens up into a swamp room, and it's going to be full of enemies. So what I like to do is wherever the drop is, that is where I'll aggro the enemies into. The drop can be here, or it has a second location, which you will see later on in the video, because this drop has a magic trick where it likes to spawn twice. So we're going to kill all the enemies down in this little pond area here. It does have leeches, it has spiders, it has snakes, it has megarenas, or however you say it, the little dragonfly things that we've been killing pretty much the whole video. So, you know, take your time, make sure that you do clear this room properly, because the last thing you want is to be snuck up on when you're on foot, as you'll see in a minute. I do actually get myself leeched because I don't take the time to go through and clear all of the water properly, and I end up getting latched by a couple of leeches, which isn't really a big deal if you have a lot of health, but people that are a lower level might have a little bit of a problem. So we get a really good Ascendant Giganotosaurus BP and a Metal Shield BP out of that red drop. But we pay a sacrifice of getting 2 leeches stuck upon us. Up this ramp, take a right, and we will come to the second to last mob of this cave. We're gonna kill all this here that didn't aggro on us whilst we were down there, and we'll make our way up to that mob. The drop is, by the way, just here sometimes by these spider eggs. So if it's not down in the pond, fight everything there instead, and it'll be better. So we've got next mob of the cave, and another Alpha player broke yet another gas mask, which again leads me to my point of saying, make sure that you have plenty. Because the last thing you want is to be at the depths of this cave, and all your gear is broken, and you've got to rush to get out, because it can be a pain, and so if you're new to the cave, it is a bit of a maze to get out of. And you know, if you're panicking, it isn't going to make it any easier for you. As you can see, these couple of Meganeras are giving me a bit of hell, but it's not a problem. We will eventually get the right angle to kill them. We're going to take a right here, we'll leave that there for now, and we're going to run up this fine path here. And at the top of this path, you will see the artifact of the immune. So it is undefended from this point. You can run here on foot if you really want to, but seems as we're on a frog, we might as well ride our froggy all the way up. Okie croak, we have just grabbed the artifact, and we are going to go down that little path that we just came from, and we're going to hang a right. There'll be them couple of enemies that are left on the corner to deal with. But I do think it's probably a good idea if I stop to heal up just a little bit more first, real quickly. Because this next room is quite full, and we are pretty low health, as you can tell by the edge of my screen, flashing red severely at this point. So yeah, just a little bit of food to force feed your frog, and you should be fine once you've got more than 25% health to go into this next room. The last thing you want to be doing is running into the last room panicky, because, you know, panic leads to mistakes, and mistakes lead to deaths in ARK. Okie doke, so my frog is nicely healed. We are going to go down this corridor to the right where I didn't go last time. Just grab these extra couple of drones and Meganeras on the way for that little bit of extra paste. Coming into this room, there is snakes, spiders, pretty much everything that you've already faced in this cave. So, you know, just take them on a few at a time with the big swipe attack of your tongue, and you should be all golden. It's not a very big room, it only extends to behind that pillar there, as you can see, as I hop along now. There is an Arthropleura in an awkward spot here. It probably will break your armour, there's not a lot that you can do about it. Most of the time, as you can see, it's even kind of hard to shotgun because of the hitbox on that pillar. So, you know, at this point you can pretty much just shotgun anything that's in front of you, and you will be good to go. Hopping along this little corridor, there is an explorer note in the bushes, so be sure to grab that, kill off the last couple of enemies to gather the last bit of paste, and you have pretty much completed the cave. There is just the one last drop to grab on the way out. If the Meganeras are giving you a bit of hell like that, just make them follow you out, and you can swat them down from the outside, just like this. As you can see, that last Meganera there did give me a bit of a run around, but not to worry, I did just shotgun it. Dismounting my frog, I jumped off the cliff bit there too. If that happens, you can simply run around, you have successfully cleared all the enemies. But as you can see, I got a nice prefab long neck and a Rex BP, which is awesome, because that will enable you to go and do your boss battles. Now, it is just simply hop along out of the cave, we're going to come through here, take a left, and we're going to go left again. At this tree, you take a right and go through this archway. And we're back to that glowing red wall. It's a sharp right when you come through here, and then it is as simple as following the bend all the way through. Now, if you didn't do it that fast, as you can see, there are sometimes more enemies here that you've got to quickly deal with on the way out. Nothing too major if you just swipe them with your tongue. If you start getting stuck in the walls like that, it is easy just to run out. Lead them a little bit like up this path, and then do a quick U-turn and deal with them out in the open. That way you're not going to mesh through any walls and lose all that hard-earned loot and all the lovely paste and chitin that you did just get from this cave. But congratulations, you have successfully completed the Cave of the Immune, and you have farmed a ton of chitin and cement and paste with your frog, as you can see. Just got to deal with the cave lag on the way out, and then I will show you inside the froggy's inventory. As you can see, we have got over 20 stacks of cementing paste and about the same in chitin, which can all be turned into more cementing paste when we get home. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, everyone. Remember to like and subscribe. Drop down in the comments what you want to see coming up in future videos. But until then, it's peace out from me, and I will catch you in the next one.